Hello and welcome to Formula Sim Racing 2016 season. It is the Pro Division coming up today, and then the World Championship Series is coming up afterwards. Stay tuned for both of the races. We're at Hockenheim in Germany for round number 7 with the Pro Series, and the drivers are just beginning qualifying right now, just beginning to start setting some times. Currently, Dmitry Zaharov quickest with a 117.797. However, I am pretty darn confident that that will not stay the fastest time of the qualifying session. So, Dimitri's actually already put in 2 timed laps already. So he is very quickly moving through this session and clearly is excited to try and get some times on the board. He is fastest, though, by over a quarter of a second right now. Jordi Lopez of ACR in second as it stands right now. We've got 2 new teams and 4 new drivers, I should say. Let me just quickly go to a car that's out on circuit. There is Jordi Lopez right now, currently second position in qualifying here. So yeah, we've got 2 new teams, Team Instinctus and Scuderia Baronasso. Instinctus has the drivers of Carlos Fernandez and Lorenz Doherty. And Scuderia Baronasso has Benoit Daubert and David Diaz. So we have quite a large grid for today's race. 30 drivers are expected. We've got 29 on the server right now. You can only see the top 26 on the overlay that you're seeing on your screen right now, as Felipe Giro now goes fastest with a 117.328. Oh, we've got some excitement for Jordi Lopez as he's making his way through Sector 3. There was a car off there. I think that was actually one of the Breslin GP cars. I'm not sure if that was Mark Hutchinson or Corey Hudson, but I think somebody got in the way there. Where is Mark Hutchinson? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was one of those 2 guys. I don't know exactly which one it was, though, but no need to worry. Who is on a hot lap right now? Let's see who we can find. Jonathan Ethier. Excuse me, there's actually another new team. There's actually 3 new teams. There's a NetRec second team. Jonathan Ethier is one of the 2 drivers driving for that team. The other driver is David Rodriguez, who's actually just ahead of him on circuit right now. So the 2 NetRec's sister teammates out on circuit right now, right next to each other in this qualifying session. And I'm sure they'll be looking to impress as much as they possibly can. No chance for rain, of course, in the Pro Series. However, there's definitely a chance for rain in the World Championship Series. I apologize to the viewers. I will not be able to keep an eye on chat really until later on, and even then I'm not so sure because I'll be doing the camera work for today, so I'll be pretty focused on trying to get you guys the best possible camera angles and get all of the action and everything like that. So I'm hoping the replay system is working just fine. I had some issues with it last time out in the Pro Division, but then it started working. Or actually, I think that was WC last time out in Austria where I was having some issues with the replay system, but that has since more or less been rectified. And Ethier is actually going back out on circuit for another lap. He is currently 4th fastest, actually, for NetRex with a 117.982. Currently, and DeWald Nell shoots up into provisional pole position for him with a 117.310. Just ahead of his teammate, actually. And it was, I believe it was last time that those guys had a good result. Felipe Giro did have a good result. He finished 2nd last time out in Austria. And where did DeWald Nell? I feel like something horrible happened to him. Yep, DeWald Nell ran out of fuel. If I'm not mistaken, he was leading the race in Austria, if I remember correctly. He was leading that race and then ran out of fuel, which was very, very disappointing for DeWald Nell. He did end up finishing the race, though, in 7th position as he ran out of fuel on the final lap. And we had so many retirements in Austria, just so many retirements, that even though he ran out of fuel, he still managed to finish in 7th position. So it was a pretty good race for the Origin Front Row Racing Red Team last time out, and it looks like they are looking to continue that good form as they're currently first and second fastest. Lucas Schmidt has now shot up into third position, less than 0.2 of a second off of DeWald Nell's pace. Excuse me. Nobody into the 116s yet, though, which we definitely saw in the Ace series, and Pro is not that far off from Ace, so I would not be surprised if we see somebody jump up there with a 116 by the end of this session. I'm not sure how much time is left in this session. Is there somewhere where I can find that out? Not as far as I can tell, but that's all right. We'll just keep an eye on it. So Christopher Raby now shoots up into fourth position. Fourth fastest, a quarter of a second off of DeWald Nell's time. Dmitry Zaharev still hanging in there in fifth position with his time of a 117.797, 117.8 essentially. So he's still hanging in there in the top 5 for right now. The drivers are really starting to put in some times. We've got the top 12 all within a second of each other, and the top 20 all within 1.6 seconds of each other or thereabouts. So it is looking pretty close for what is a very short lap, as Jonathan Ethier now displaces Dmitry Zaharev for fifth position after putting in a 117.6 for Ethier. And DeWald Nell is out on circuit right now. Let's have a look at him and see what he can do, if he can do anything. Oh, David Cook now on pole position, provisional pole position with a 117.123, a great time from David Cook. I'm sure he will be very happy about that in his ACR car. And we've got 25 times on the board. Let's see how many people are on the server. 28, so actually somebody left the server. Somebody might be restarting. But we've got 28 drivers on the server, and 25 drivers have set a time already. DeWald Nell is going to, I assume, he's going to try and find that extra 0.2. He wants that pole position. It's not impossible to overtake at Hockenheim, as we saw in the Ace race yesterday. For those of you that tuned in for that, you'll know overtaking at the hairpin, the turn 6 hairpin, is certainly relatively easy in comparison to other overtaking locations, not just at this circuit, but on the FSR calendar for 2016. So we should see plenty of overtaking. However, a lot of that overtaking is going to happen into that turn 6 hairpin without a doubt. Just the one DRS zone for the race in Hockenheim here. DeWald Nell was not able to improve his time, but Felipe Giro was, as he goes 2/100ths quicker than David Cook. So right now, David Cook splitting those two Origin Front Row Racing red cars. And DeWald Nell, I'm sure, will be looking to improve that time. Dmitry Zaharev now down into 7th position. Jordi Lopez 8th. Benoit Daubert in his first race for the Scuderia Baronasso, currently in 9th position. However, almost a second off of Felipe Giro's pace. And ever since David Cook put in that incredible time, that's really kind of spaced things out a little bit. Now just the top 10 are within 1 second of each other. Dave Paling currently in that 10th place position. And who's out on circuit right now? David Cook actually is out on circuit right now. Let's have a quick look at David Cook, the Canadian driving for Avid Chronic Racing. And let's see if he can improve. He doesn't have very much time to find. He just needs to find a couple 100ths if he wants to try and pip Felipe Giro for that pole position. And also the Breslin GP team, who we talked about as being newcomers not that long ago. Seems like just the other day they have a new livery. You can see that here, this yellow livery on the Breslin Grand Prix team. Ooh, with a kind of honeycomb pattern on it. I'm not sure if you can pick that up on the broadcast. Certainly it's clear as day to me since I'm watching it directly. But Mark Hutchinson does improve. He goes up into 12th position. I believe he was 13th prior to that. And David Cook, first driver into the 116s, a 116.838, a quarter of a second up on Felipe Giro's time. And let's see. Yep, he's still got 2 more attempts, does David Cook. So plenty of opportunities for him to try and improve. And he's already going out on circuit to try and improve that time right now. Not feeling safe with that 116.838, and I can't blame him whatsoever. I'm sure the drivers will start getting closer and closer to that. Now just the top 9 drivers within 1 second of each other. The top 19 all within 2 seconds. And it looks like David's got a car behind him. I think he might be getting out of the way. I don't know if that driver is on a hot lap. Yep, David Cook gets out of the way very nicely. Truly a gentleman. And allows that driver to continue on. Not sure who that was. Lucas Schmidt now shoots up into second position. The second driver into the 116s with a 116.988. And in fact, let me see if I can get... Nope, that's not going to work. There we go. You can see how many laps the drivers have done. So they have 12 laps. For those of you that are unfamiliar with the qualifying session here in Formula Sim Racing, they have 12 laps. That includes the out lap and the in lap. Even if you teleport after crossing the line, that does count as an in lap. So David Cook has completed 6 laps, so he's got 2 time laps to go, more or less. You can choose to do it how you want. You can run back-to-back laps. So, I mean, if he really wanted to, he could run 4 more laps. But then he would have to fuel for 4 more laps, and he would have to do 3 of those laps on scrubbed tires. And I don't think we've ever seen anybody use that strategy. So, not really expecting that sort of thing to happen. Let's go ahead and go back to the gaps. So the OFR red team still side by side in 3rd and 4th position, though. I'm sure that they would like to change that from row 2 to row 1 if they can lock that out. I'm sure that's exactly what they would love to have happen. But right now it is David Cook and Lucas Schmidt that are occupying that front row. The 2 ACR drivers. David Cook, of course, driving for the main ACR team. Lucas Schmidt driving for the ACR Gray team, which is a sister team of David Cook. So they are not direct teammates, but they are sister teammates. So I'm sure David would prefer to have Lucas starting alongside on the grid with him as opposed to Felipe or DeWald Nell. So I'm sure he's more happy about seeing Lucas there than the other 2 guys. And David Cook is going to come across the line, and what's it going to be? It is a 116.895, unfortunately about half a tenth off of his personal best, so he does not improve on this particular occasion. Lucas Schmidt, though, out on track at the moment, and he's done 9 laps, and I believe this is his out lap now. So he has 1 time lapse still remaining. David Cook still has 1 time lapse still remaining. DeWald Nell has a time lapse still remaining, as does Benoit Daubert, currently in 5th position. Christopher Raby has, I believe, 2 time lapse still to go. Jonathan Ethier is done. He is done with his session in 7th position, currently with a 117.6, so he will not get an opportunity to improve on that. And I should be joined later on in the commentary booth by Chris de Jong, the ever-popular Chris de Jong. Really looking forward to having him with me and having a second set of eyes on track to keep an eye on all the action. What with 30 drivers being in this race, it's going to be very difficult for me to try and do all of this by myself, commentary and keeping an eye on the action and changing the cameras and all that kind of stuff. So I very much welcome the arrival of Chris de Jong. He should be showing up later on in the warm-up session, we sure hope. Or is he here right now? Is that you, Chris? Is there anybody out there? Just not if you can hear me. I'm going to assume he's still setting things up. So DeWald Nell, though, is out on circuit, and he's on his out lap, I believe, right now. Certainly seemed like he was moving very slowly through that hairpin. But David Cook still holding on to that pole position for right now. Lucas Schmidt still holding on to that front row position. The only 2 drivers to get into the 116s so far. And we were expecting possibly a very, very busy circuit, and it has been a busy circuit. Hockenheim is shorter than the average Grand Prix layout, not by a massive amount, mind you, but it is shorter. So there were some concerns about possibly drivers struggling to find room to set their times, but it seems like not too many issues from what we've been able to see anyway. Of course, we just have the one camera guy, so I'm sure there was some action that I missed, but as far as I can tell, it does look like everybody is setting their times without too many troubles. Lucas Schmidt, by the way, is out of this session. He will not be able to improve, so that 116.988 from Lucas Schmidt will be his final time in qualifying. Ditto for Felipe Giro as well. His 1:17.670. That's not right. That's not right at all. Yeah, anyway. His 1:17, what would that be? Okay, so I'm going to do some math. 1:17.066 is Felipe's quickest time, and that is going to be his final time. He set his final lap time. Dewald Nell still has a lap. David Cook, actually, I believe, is on a lap right now, as is Dewald Nell, who we are watching right now. Again, Dewald nearly won the race last time out in Austria at the Red Bull Ring. However, ran out of fuel on the final lap. It was a thrilling race last time in Austria, and I expect nothing less from today's broadcast. Should be very, very exciting, and really looking forward to this circuit. I do like this circuit. I tend to like German circuits. I don't know what's up with that. But I am a fan of Hockenheim. I'm a fan of Nürburgring. I'm a fan of the Nordschleife. People that know me well will know that I absolutely love the Nordschleife. I don't just like it. Oh, and David Cook has had an off. So that is going to be his session done. And I believe all the drivers are now done. Let me see if there is anybody out on circuit right now. No, that is going to be the end of the session. It looks like George Winter might be out on circuit right now. Yes, he is, for the NetRex main team, the main NetRex team. Again, there is now a sister team for NetRex. Gee, I don't know what they're called, though. Hold on. They're called NetRex TPL. NetRex TPL is the name of the sister team. So this is NetRex Grand Prix. The sister team is NetRex TPL. And again, those drivers are David Rodriguez and Jonathan Ethier. And again, if you're just joining us, the other two new teams are Team Instinctus with Carlos Fernandez and Lorenz Doherty. And then Scuderia Baronasso with Benoit Daubert and David Diaz. So those are the four new drivers for the two new teams. And then again, the NetRex sister team is new as well. So we're getting ready to go to the warm-up session now. And actually, I am going to take a picture of qualifying. There we go. There we go. Now I got the qualifying results on my screen so I can keep you guys updated as far as the drivers' progress, how people are doing in the race relative to where they started in the race. So we've got a 10-minute warm-up session now for the drivers to allow themselves to acclimate to the high fuel in the car, which is a great way of avoiding any sort of first lap incidents or helping to alleviate the possibility for any first lap incidents. So the warm-up session, always a good idea. Here we go. And Lucas Schmidt looks like he is the first one out on track. So again, Lucas starting from second position in today's race, front row of the grid. And he was beaten only by David Cook, the only two drivers to get into the 116s. I knew somebody would get into the 116s. I did suspect that more than that would get into the 116s, though, if I'm being totally honest. And I believe that's Dmitry Zaharov overtaking Lucas Schmidt. I guess he wants some clear track, and nobody can blame him for that. So again, during this warm-up session, let me go ahead and go over the driver standings. So right now in the championship, David Cook is currently leading. He did not participate in Austria, which brought the field quite a bit closer. Came into Austria with 90 points, and again did not partake in the Austrian Grand Prix, so he still has 90 points, but is still leading this championship. Felipe Giro, after a second-place finish in Austria, is now just 12 points adrift of David Cook, so very, very close between them. And then not far behind them, Mikhail Antohovsky, who no longer races in the Pro Series. He has 70 points. Dewald Nell currently in fourth position, tied with Lucas Schmidt at 55 points apiece. So very close for fourth position. In sixth position, it is Dave Paling with 51 points. David O'Reilly in seventh position with 47 points. Jordi Lopez in 8th position with 46 points. Christopher Raby right behind him with 45 points in 9th position. And Dmitry Zakharov rounding out the top 10 with 39 points. No, I'm sorry. Dmitry Zakharov has 43 points. Christopher Raby 45, Jordi Lopez 46, David O'Reilly 47. So just 4 points separating 6th down to 10th. So, and I said that in the broadcast in Austria. I said, with the way things were looking, that it looked like it was going to get very, very close in the championship, or at least closer than it was previously. And that is exactly what has happened. However, the championship leader is on pole position. Lucas Schmidt alongside him tied for 4th. So unless somebody can stop David Cook from taking off into the distance, and we might see him further extend his championship lead after that gap got closed down in Austria. Oh, and we've got a spinner off. Oh, and some contact at turn 1 in the background there as well. But again, this is why we do the warm-up sessions, so that the drivers can get used to the car on the high fuel. So there is Benoit Daubert in the Scuderia Baronasso car. Again, new car, so a new livery as well. They've got the black, blue, and red livery on that car. And there is David Cook, your pole sitter for today's race, and also your championship leader as well. Again, I'm sure he will be looking to extend that lead. I'm going to have a quick run through. Oh, right. Let's also go over the team standings. Oh, we've got another spinner off at turn number 8. I think that was Adam Osger, and just having some trouble getting back going. It looks like he might be blocking somebody, but that's okay. That may have been Theodoros, though, possibly. No, I'm sorry. Apologies. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was Adam Osger. Yep, it sure was. So in the Teams Championship, Avid Chronic Racing, which is David Cook's team, currently leading the championship with 137 points. Origin Front Row Racing Green Team in 2nd position with 109 points, just 28 points adrift. In 3rd position, it is the ACR Gray Team with 94 points, just 15 points below the OFR Green Team. 4th position is Origin Front Row Racing Red with 87 points, just 7 points behind ACR Gray. And in 5th position, it's ACR Engineering with 82 points, just 5 points adrift of the OFR Red Team. So it is pretty darn close in the Constructors' Championship, the largest gap being from 1st to 2nd, which again is 28 points. And that is definitely a number that can be overcome in today's race. If OFR's Green Team can manage to pull together a fantastic result, then they can certainly change that. OFR Green Team's drivers are Ryan Winsper and Dave Paling. And where are they going to be starting in today's race? Dave Paling starting from 11th. Ouch. Ouch. I'm sure he would have been very happy to be much higher than that. Ryan Winsper, meanwhile, down in 18th. So the Constructors' Championship contenders, OFR Green Team, starting today's race from 11th and 18th. So that will be no small feat on their part, excuse me. Oh, we've got a car upside down at the exit of turn 1. Oh, there we go. He flipped it back over the right way. So we'll have a quick look at Jordi Lopez, as he is currently the fastest in this session, in this warm-up session. Less than 4 minutes to go. I'll go ahead and bring up the results from last time so we can go over the Austrian Grand Prix for those that may have missed it. In the end, as a result of DeWald Nell running out of fuel, Lucas Schmidt took the win. And I believe that was his first win of the season. Let me just confirm that very quickly. Yes, it was. In fact, it was his first podium of the season for Lucas Schmidt. So I'm sure and there he is right there. So that is your Austrian Grand Prix winner and first time winning of the season as well. First win of the season. Felipe Giro came home in second position. Jordi Lopez in third. Yeah, that was a big talking point, actually. Jordi Lopez, who was a rookie at the beginning of this season, driving for the ACR team, and from America as well, picked up his first podium of the season. He was 25 seconds adrift in the end. However, that doesn't really matter. He was third fastest over the day. And even if he wasn't third fastest, he was the third one to complete the race, and that's all that really matters. The 53 laps of the Red Bull Ring. It would have been fourth position, but thanks to Dewald Nell running out of fuel, that is what allowed him to move up into third position. Apologies, I made a mistake. I said Jordi Lopez was in 8th position. It's actually Juan Sanchez, excuse me, who was actually in 8th position. That was my mistake. Oh, hold on. Oh, okay. Yep. We are joined. We are joined by Chris de Jong. Chris de Jong is in the commentary booth with us now. Chris,
hey, good afternoon to you as well.
Happy to have you with me. It is very much the morning hours, though. For me, it is 9 o'clock in the morning. But
yeah, but you're living in freedom country. We are obviously in the racing capital in Europe. Yeah, racing capital would be England, in my opinion.
Agreed.
But yeah, thanks for having me again, and warm welcome to you all from my side. I assume you already gave the viewers and spectators a very warm welcome yourself. And like you said earlier, it's almost a full lockout grid with at the moment 29 drivers out of the possible 30. So it's kind of fitting to pro, isn't it? It's like a Formula 3 race, 30, 40 cars around, all these young guys trying to get it all with only one guy to take it all. So I'm pretty anxious, and well, anxious isn't the correct word. I would say I'm pretty curious to see what turn one will look at. It's almost time to get started, isn't it? So
yeah, warm-up session's already coming to an end. Yeah, David Cook's on pole, the championship leader, so should be very interesting. But of course, the pole sitter in the ace race yesterday, which was oh gosh, who was it? It was Victor Ivanov. He ended up losing that to Pasalis Gergis into turn 1 at the very start of the race. So certainly pole position doesn't necessarily mean you'll be first after turn 1.
Definitely. It's not Monaco here, and even in Monaco, I mean, if your team makes a mistake, if you're listening, Daniel, unlucky, no.
Unlucky.
Yeah, unlucky. No, as a racer, it's never unlucky. You're just frustrated to the max. What is noticeable when I was looking at the ACR drivers here is the difference in top speed. And it instantly, I have to point out that Lucas Schmidt and championship leader, where is he now? David Cook, who hasn't set a lap time yet, have a difference of like 12, 16 kilometers an hour on the straight. And where Lucas is seemingly a little bit, uncertain, maybe having a little bit of oversteer. David Cook is a little bit more, well, controlled, so to seem, but both are doing quite good in terms of pace. So for the time being in the season, ACR is looking like they have the sheaves on the dry, as we would say. So I think it would be interesting to see a fight amongst these guys. But of course, anything can happen. I mean, there are plenty of other names that can throw a little bit of dirt in their dinner. But it says something that the first 4 guys here are all ACR in the warm-up.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think that's a coincidence whatsoever.
Yeah.
And last time out, I mean, we only had 6 drivers finish on the lead lap, and that was out of 25. So we've only got 4 more drivers than last time, and only 6 drivers finishing on the lead lap last time. So yeah, I mean, as you said, really anything can happen.
You know what would be a funny idea? To see the difference in terms of speed. If you have a top WC driver make a guest appearance in a pro race and see what the difference actually is, because on board, you know, even if it's half a second, maybe 1 second, then in one race distance time, everyone would be lapped. And I sometimes get a very bad itch on the back of my head that I have to scratch my head to, you know, figure out how these WC drivers do what they are doing. It's not just a term of setup, but yeah, that's something for later in the day. For the moment, we have well, only two 119s. That was basically the pace yesterday as well. 119s low, I believe, in Ace. For what I have seen later on in the race on lower fuel. These guys will, I think, start with around 100 liters. Maybe a little bit more if you tend to use that boost. Maybe a little bit, you know, less. But in the end, everyone has to finish. And I'm sure the Wout Nel is putting 2 liters more in his car this race. No offense there, but yeah, that's not something you want to see. I remember John Alesi. I mean, I believe he would have won the race also in Austria, but he literally stopped dry like 300-400 meters before the finish. Maybe it was the Austrian Grand Prix like in 1844 or something way back. But here we go then. 29 cars lining up on towards the grid. 51 laps in front of us, and well, there we go then. I mean, I have to come back to what you said earlier. I don't know the exact distance, but 51 laps implies that it's, you know, amongst the, you know, average kind of length in terms of Grand Prix circuits. However, I think 50% of it is full throttle. You know, like Monza, so you get fast lap time, but still a high of a lower amount of laps, I would say. So here we go then, David Cook biting the head of this cookie here by leaving the grid, and the rest is obviously following. I do see a new name, at least that's for me a new name, and you probably introduced him as well, Benoit Dabert.
Yep, he is driving for Scuderia Baronasso, one of the 3 new teams that's come in this race. His teammate is David Diaz. And he's actually down in 22nd, so a big gap between those two. But yeah, great debut for Benoit in the top 5. That's fantastic.
Exactly, and nice to see some new teams coming into FSR this year, and that's what we need as well, a growing community of determined people who wanna show us what they got. And of course, it's a little bit tempting if you see all these guys driving around and you hear us saying it's so hard to go as quick as some of these guys. You're like, I can do that, you know. But then, you know, you have to try first. Yeah, be our guest to have a go. Mod is completely free to download at Formula or middle score, whatever. Formula middle score simracing.net. I urge you all to have a quick peek to see what you might be able to do. For now though, it's time to see what these guys are going to do. I have some pretty bad memories from the Ace race last year here, turn one, and I'm sure that a lot of these guys in the commentary booth are saying, oh yeah, I was there on the grid, that turn 1 was horrible, where we had 50% of the grid being DNF'd after turn 1. Nevertheless, that's not going to happen here. These pro guys know what they're doing, but I'm sure that David Cook is feeling the most confident heading into that turn 1 with his teammate alongside him and a clean track in front of him. As he is stationary on towards the grid, Ben Horrell is still in the stadium section.
Yeah, so, David Cook got to his grid spot before Lucas Schmidt was even into the final corner.
Yeah.
So clearly he is very anxious to get going. He's going to be stationary for quite a long period of time, though.
Yeah, hopefully that engine will hold, though.
We're waiting for
the lights to come on. It's Sunday, the 5th of June in 2016. It's sweating hot, except if you're in the UK, which is rainy, of course. And we are waiting for the lights to come on. And here we go. We have 3 lights, we have 4 lights, we have 5 lights, and we have liftoff here in Germany. Here we go, David Cook making a great start here. The rest of the pack is seemingly going out of front, and there's a big crash already in the midfield. But a lot of guys, on the track, carnage here. Dimitri Sauerov, George Winter were colliding there, but the majority of the pack has made it through. No severe incidents at the top of the race. David Cook is instantly gaining a second after Lucas Schmidt, who is getting pressurized by Felipe Giro. Felipe Giro here on towards the back of Cook of Schmidt. Schmidt not defending though. Felipe Giro diving on the inside, of course, and taking that second place.
Wow, very quick move from Felipe Giro, already up into second. Holy cow. And Lucas is all over the back of him. He's looking like he might try and make a move. It's going to be difficult on the high fuel heading. Oh, gosh, getting very close. Running a little bit wide as well. That's going to put him on the back foot as far as with DeWald Nell. DeWald's going to try and go around the outside, and then he's going to have to try and go around the outside at turn 11. That's going to be very difficult if he could pull that off. Wow, and he does. He shoots around the outside. Wow, the OFR red drivers going ahead of Lucas Schmidt, taking second and third straight away in this race. Holy cow.
Exactly. And in the backfield we have Jonathan Etier, Ryan Whisper driving without a front wing, eager to get into the pit. And unfortunately those are the guys who have to postpone their battle for a good position. After this first lap we have some DNFs, Mark Hutchinson, Carlos Fernandez, Adam Osgour and Corey Hudson. Carlos Fernandez actually said GG in the chat. Should get a warning for that or a point.
Both Breslin Grand Prix cars out of the race already after just one lap. That is very unfortunate for them.
Really unfortunate indeed. But fortunately we have the majority of the pack safe and sound through the first lap, the first part of this race. And David Cook is eager to extend his gap towards Felipe Giro. 1 lap ago it was 1 second, now it's 1.5. So if Felipe Giro wants to have this first win, he has to fight for it every inch of the way. Benoit Dalbert, we talked about him earlier, starting from P6, is now finding himself into P15. Troubling for him, but of course that's racing as well, how sad as it might be. George Winter is going, well, places I would say. Raby is in with Lopez in a battle. And of course these ACR drivers have to keep it together, because in Canada we have seen some crashes. Jordi Lopez losing the back of the car here, and well, manages to keep it together fortunately.
Yeah, that was a bit of a squirrely moment coming out of that cambered left-hander.
Yeah.
12, that probably raised his heart rate ever so slightly, I would imagine. But yeah, it looked like Raby earlier in the lap was actually attacking Lucas Schmidt. He was very close under braking for that turn 6 hairpin, but then he started coming under attack from his teammate Jordi Lopez. Actually, Lopez hot off the heels of his podium finish last time out in Austria, so I can only assume that Jordi Lopez is feeling very strong. He has lost a significant amount of time though to Raby up ahead, as the DRS is activated now. So Lopez now, I believe, is going to be more concerned about Lorenz Doherty, another one of the new drivers for today's race, rather than his teammate up ahead. But they're heading into Sector 2 now, and he'll have an opportunity to try and close in that gap, try and get DRS next lap.
Indeed. I like that livery, though, of Doherty.
I do too. I like the yellow.
Has a little bit of a Renault in him, but then again the whiteness, it's awesome.
I think if you look closely as well, there's kind of like a honeycomb pattern to it as well, which I like the kind of honeycomb pattern. It's hard to see on the broadcast.
But sorry, here we go with Miles Wiwe and Ben Horrell, who is behind him. Miles and Will Barnes, his teammate, are doing a fantastic job being in P9 and P10 for their doing. Then again, Miles, I don't think you can keep up with this, because Ben is extremely fast at the moment, having started from the back since he overshot the limit of amount of laps in qualify, and he's certainly putting the pressure now on Miles, and I think Miles would do great on just letting him by, because he's losing time now by battling. However, great start of the race, and Felipe Giro, after being 1.8 seconds behind Cook, is now 1.5 seconds behind. So Cook is not getting this on a silver platter, and behind Giro it's his teammate DeWalt Nell, and his turn being followed by by 3 ACR cars. So, and Benoit Daubert makes an overtake on George Winter. Oh, they're still side by side, actually, heading into the hairpin. George Winter on the prime tires, on the medium compounds, and Benoit's trying to go around the outside, and it looks like he has done it on those softer compound tires, so he's up into 14th now after a bit of a shocking start for him, losing 10 positions at the start of the race. Oh, we got a big spin. That's Lorenz Doherty off in the distance there. Oh, gosh, and rejoining the track, there's been contact
Oh, no. Dave Paling has been involved in that. I think that was Dmitry Zaharov. No, Javier Moyano, I think, involved in that. Oh, man. That is very, very unfortunate.
Oh, my God. I mean, Lawrence Doherty, he saw, out of a driver's perspective, if you looked at him on board, he saw there were cars coming. Nevertheless, he still made a spin with the car, like a 180 to get the car back on track. Even if you're not to blame for the accident, that's not a good way to rejoin the track. Lucas Schmidt! What the hell?
What?
What the hell? Invisible walls here in Germany! Absolutely despicable here what's happening to Lucas Schmidt. Absolutely despicable. Nothing he can do about that. Nothing.
I'm watching the
I
replay.
hate it
Oh
when
my
stuff like that
God!
happens, man.
Oh
I really hate it.
my God! That is a shocking turn of events for Lucas
Winter,
Schmidt.
everything is coming now. Everything is going in fast forward. George Winter losing the car by, you know, making a dive bomb, and behind that a car of chaos as well between Zaharov and Sanchez, but no contact. But you know, chaos on the track. Let me by. But yeah, this is epic. Everything is seeming to unfold. We have 22 drivers left in competition, and well, for the front runners, it's quite exciting. For the back markers, it's terrifying sometimes. But we have to, you know, it would be nice if we could tell all drivers that, you know, where Lucas Schmidt just crashed, to not drive there.
Right.
But yeah.
That was right around the 150 meter marker, I think, heading into turn
Something
one
like
thereabouts.
that.
Yeah.
Ooh, and if we can go on board with Ben Horrell, he will get DRS from Will Barnes. Will Barnes and his teammate now in P6 and 7 respectively.
Ooh.
And Ben Horrell here has a little bit of a sloppy exit, have to admit. Nevertheless, opens up the DRS. Will Barnes has to defend now. He is defending, forcing Ben Horrell onto the outside, side by side into this turn 4. Will Barnes outbraking Horrell. Can he make the undercut work?
The switchback.
No, great driving from both of them. And out of the book from Will.
Oh, and Vicentovic and Benoit. Oh my gosh, he just running him right off the circuit there. I'm not sure what that was all about, but that is, I mean, Benoit Daubert was up to.
He got pushed outside of the track. Benoit could not
spin.
do anything about that. That was Michailo his. Yeah, he didn't pay as much attention.
And Javier Moyano is missing a front wing.
Yeah, a lot of things happening here. Ben Horrell got rid of Will Barnes, though. He made that move stick. Sorry if we didn't catch that. Ben Horrell is up to P7, though.
I'm having a look at what happened with Moyano. He was behind David O'Reilly heading into the hairpin. And let's see, what happened with him? I'm not seeing anything yet. He's out of the hairpin cleanly. Oh, did he catch a car that was spinning? Oh, no, he just loses it in the turn 7 kink after the hairpin. He just loses the back end, and it's barely a corner. For Javier Moyano, that is very, very upsetting. Wow. And he's into the pits now. He's going to get a new front wing, but that is very disappointing for him. I'm sure he is gutted about that.
A lot of stuff happening here that shouldn't happen. However, it is pro, and yeah, stuff does happen from time to time. However, this is the part of this. This is the type of circuit where you can expect these things. You know.
Yeah.
You have tricky corners. I mean, in a way, Tilke, you know, he had a good base on to redesign the track.
Right.
However, he did get some nice corners here to be side by side with one another and to take multiple lines, and that of course creates overtaking maneuvers, possibilities for that. So yeah, here we go again. Maybe back to the leaders of this race. Of course, that's only one, which name is David Cook. However, Felipe Giro 1.6 seconds behind that. He's hanging in there quite severely, yeah. And the Wild Nell is not able to follow his pace of his teammate and his peer, David Cook, which is the peer for this race. And Christopher Raby hanging onto the Wild Nell, but not really getting hauled up by him.
No one in the top 5 getting DRS. They're all spaced out by 1.5 seconds thereabouts. So yeah, no DRS in the top 5 whatsoever. Oh, we got some
So,
battling in the background. Vicentovic on George Winter at the inside of the hairpin. Again, though, George Winter on the prime tires, actually, so I'm not too surprised to see him coming under attack from all these option runners. And he might try something. He might try the fight back. Yeah, he's going to try a lunge at turn 8, but no, he couldn't get on the brakes late enough. Oh, Vicentovic runs a little bit wide, but no, he will defend that
I
position.
think he tried to, make himself seen in the rearview mirrors of Vicentovic, but Vicentovic didn't see Daubert a minute ago as well. So it's a little bit of a pointless maneuver to create tension on Michelo. He doesn't see you anyway, so, no, but he is known for that. He is known for that. In Canada, I gave him actually my race setup, which was 4, 5, 10 slower than the top WC drivers, and he still didn't go as fast. So unfortunately, there are more complicated issues for Vicentovic. However, he is still driving. He is a name here, and George Winter now getting overtaken by Sanchez on the straight. How is that happening? He just.
I'm watching a replay of it now.
I'm losing for words. He's getting dived by Sauerhoff there. But I'm curious if Winter has throttle issues or something. I don't know. Let's see. No, it's fully on, but it seemed like he was losing a little bit of pace there, momentum.
Yeah, that looked like a problem with his throttle or something. I mean, he just. Wow, that was shocking, actually.
Big battle now. Vicentovic. And there's contact between George Winter and Vicentovic because Sanchez and Vicentovic made contact. Nothing he could do about that, but nevertheless, Winter is back into P10, Vicentovic is into P11, and Juan Sanchez is running up through the field.
Yeah, I think there was slight contact there at the hairpin. I mean, we saw contact at the hairpin, though, in the ace race, so I don't think anybody's too surprised about that. It is a low-speed corner, though, so thankfully contact at that corner isn't necessarily devastating or anything like that.
And it's such a nice circuit to see so much action. Jordi Lopez, though, overtaking Christopher Raby, and I think that was a sort of a team order overtake. They were both like, okay, you are, faster than me, so let's work together instead of crashing each other off like in Canada. Christopher Raby not applying his DRS though. He is going into the pit this lap, it seems, since he has his light on. But still, that DRS does give you a little bit of higher top speed, Raby. Even if you don't want to overtake your teammate.
Here we go.
Ben Orwell now.
Juan Sanchez.
Miles.
Gosh.
Miles screwing up horribly.
I'm watching a replay of it now.
Ben Horrell is making the move stick. And Miles just... Yeah, he does brake like at 125, 130 meters. But I think that's a little bit average. And I would say that Miles is the only guy to blame there. Ramming someone from behind. And Ben Horrell has to go and DNF himself because... this suspension damage will not work. Sensible of Ben. However, I feel he is definitely the victim here. Raby in the pits. George Winter is now trying to overtake Miles. Well, Weiwei on the outside there. That's not gonna help you, and that's not gonna do anything good. However, it's now the turn of George Winter where he has fresher tires because they degraded a little bit less. Miles now has to let George Winter go. He has the inside, and here he goes. But Juan Sanchez having the better exit of the two of them, and he's actually able to take Miles because of that bad exit.
And then he'll get the DRS here as well.
Possibly, because he did have to compromise a little bit. We have a crash as well. Javier Moyano crashed with someone. With himself. Made a spin first, and then.
Lost the back end.
A rejoining of Thomas Ezurieglu or whatever. Oh man. Paschalis Gerges, race director, is gonna have so much homework for this Sunday. Absolutely amazing.
I am struggling to keep up with everything that is going on. This is an absolutely insane race. So we haven't even looked at the...
This is what you want here. No Valencia 2011 kind of things, Grand Prix in real life, because we only had one overtake there in the real Formula 1. David O'Reilly making life a little bit hard, almost spinning because he overshot the curb. And now we are in the pit stop window where the majority of drivers will go into the pit, and most likely will shed that medium compound tire to have it out of the way, or to do one stop less. Zaharov into the pit as well. And still nice from Michelo that he is in top 10 in a top 10 position now. However, he did mess up the race of someone I can't say with certainty, but we have seen that move earlier on.
And it does seem that now David Cook is starting to pull out that gap on Felipe Giro, just over 3 seconds at the moment, and then another 3 seconds or so back to Dewald Nell. So the top 3.
Yeah, but Felipe
really
Giro has a phobia with pit stops. You know?
Who's that? There's somebody off there. I think it's a back marker, though. Yeah, that's definitely a back marker.
It's Moyano.
Moyano, who we saw with an issue earlier.
He at least is careful at rejoining the track. That's something I respect. But he has suspension damage. Would be very unlikely for him to finish the race and in a good position. The sensible thing to do here, if we can take a look at Moyano, if you find yourself in a position like this and you're driving a pro and someone's coming behind you, what if you crash out the leaders? You're already done, you're 1 lap down, you have suspension damage. The most sensible thing is to just throw in the towel and, fight again another day.
I assume he doesn't know that he's missing his rear wing.
Well, he does know that there's something wrong, but I just hope that it doesn't lead to any kind of issues for someone else, because then you would have a huge problem with the race director.
Yeah, he's making me nervous right now, to be totally honest.
Same here. So, hopefully he can make his way back into the pit. But
he's taking the corner cut line.
Yeah, he should just press escape.
Yeah.
Well, assuming nothing will happen in that aspect, he is careful, so that's one thing. I mean, I don't have an issue if you drive along, 10 laps down, as long as you never ever get in the way of someone. However, 5 seconds now, the lead of David Cook, and Felipe Giro is going into the pit right now. And he should have done that last lap, because, if you lose 1.5 seconds...
Yeah. Then, Giro lost an entire second last lap.
Yep.
Yeah, holy cow. That was a big difference in lap time from those two guys.
And he might have a penalty here, whilst Moyano finally found the escape button, because I believe Giro released his pit entry. In his pit entry, he released the pit limiter. Let's see here. That might be... my observation, but let's see if that's fact. I hope not. It's not. So he doesn't have a penalty. I would call that optimization then. So a great to get back into contention, because all David Cook now has to do is cover that pit stop, which he is doing according to his steering wheel monitor, and then he, can proudly ride 4 seconds after the first set of pit stops. So he's doing a good business into getting this bag of 25 points. Juan Sanchez now going out of the pits, comes out on track in front of Dimitar Zaharov, but Dimitar Zaharov having the momentum here, not giving Juan Sanchez enough room, in my opinion. Does do that here though. Well, I think he gets away with that, but Sanchez now needs to make this move stick here. He's on fresh rubber. He doesn't want to get caught up behind someone. Dimitar Zaharov leaving the inside by creating a dummy. Oh, this is insane of these guys. Give each other at least a little bit of room.
Yeah, yeah. That was a bit of an aggressive cutback from Zaharov, in my opinion.
Now leader in the race into the pit, and Giro now coming onto the straight. He's crossing start-finish line now. I think that's about 4 seconds.
Yep, I think
4
so.
or 5.
I think you're right.
So, great job from David, and I'm just waiting for the first sector, to be honest. Let's see what it is.
He's already got traffic. We're only on lap 15, and just the pure insanity of this race, and he's already got lap traffic up ahead. And to make things worse, Sergio Riaz and Ryan Winsper are actually in the middle of a battle. They were going side by side into the hairpin, so David Cook is going to have to be very, very careful as he looks to overtake these guys. Dewald Nell actually jumped by Jordi Lopez during the pit stop phase. Or has Jordi stopped yet? Yeah, Jordi has stopped. So yeah, Jordi Lopez jumping up into third with the undercut in the pit stop phase. And he's now put himself in between the two
Rodriguez
OFR red
off
cars.
the track. David Rodriguez of Netrex is off the track. Yeah. Well, people, that's a driver mistake. That's how you call that.
Let me see if I can
He's
get
stationary now. What are you doing, David?
I can get a replay of that, if I can.
Yeah, it's just really weird. It's like computer lag or something. He isn't on the outside of the corner. He steers in half, and then he just loses the car. So nothing really.
Yeah, that looks like a technical issue.
Jordi Lopez is, well, getting under pressure by the wall, so to see. Giro 2.4, 2.1 seconds behind now. Let's see if they both have the same tires. Yes, they do, Cook and Felipe, both on the option of a medium compound. Now on the inside here of Jordi Lopez, who isn't defending at all.
No.
And here we go, and there's a back marker, Charil Rias, who has to get out of the way. Good job, Charil, yes. That's how we want to see that. But there's another guy coming up to you though, and yeah, another good job from you, yay. And another guy. Yeah, well, once you get overtaken by the leaders, it's going rapidly from that point. Yep. Certainly when the track is easy, you know, spread out a little bit.
He's got a bit of a gap now, though. George Winter's about 4 seconds adrift of that top 5 group, so he can slot in there. And then it's a big gap, 20 seconds down to Dmitry Zaharov from George Winter. So once he lets George Winter through, he should be able to push for a little while. So that's good.
Yeah, and especially I met Charil on track in Australia in Pro this year. He was a little bit of cocky, really slow and without etiquette. We are some races further now, and he has definitely grown as a driver. He's way more professional, much faster as well. And, you know, just has to find his rhythm. But it's nice to see that growth in drivers, and that's what Pro is all about. You know, a good environment for young, maybe new competitive drivers in sim racing. Maybe AMA is the.
You don't have to be young. You don't have to be young.
Yeah, exactly. We have David O'Reilly here, who is 84. Hi, David. But no, he's literally like 45 or something, 50. But nevertheless, you know, Pro is a great environment to test if FSR is a neat environment for your racing craft. And it sure is. Unfortunately, though, what happens in racing and what happened to Carlos Fernandez today as well, who made his debut today in FSR, he practiced hard, and you know, he gets that turn 1 incident while Felipe Giro spins. Felipe Giro ruins his tires completely. Has to be really careful now to go out back on the track. But he lost a lot of time, a lot of positions as well. Here comes George Winter too. And he loses out 4 positions there to George Winter, Raby, Lopez, and basically the Wild Nell as well. And it's the consistency of Giro that's bothering, well, me and him as particularly, I think. But he has the raw speed. He just needs to, you know, calm down a little bit. And I'm sure he's winning material. But yeah, also his first season in FSR, and he's completely out of the rhythm. You know, turn 1 going horribly. That's not so nice. We have another DNF. It's Charil Rias. Ooh, that's really unfortunate. If we look at the replay, ooh, he made contact with Rodriguez. Oh, and finds himself in towards the barrier. So many incidents here. It's unbelievable for Pro even. However, that's our 50th DNF for today, and we have 17 drivers out of 29 in contention. Let's just hope that was the lot that we're going to retire.
I mean, this race is going fast though. We're more than a third of the way through the race already, and it feels like it's only been a couple of laps.
Yeah, in this pace we run out of drivers around lap 40, 48. So, come on, drivers, keep it on the gray bit. The green bit is lava, you know. Don't touch that. So, but Dave Paling now in a fierce battle with Vicentovic, who is forcing Paling off track a little bit there. But yeah, he had the corner as well. But I don't know. However, if you find yourself in off the tarmac earlier on, like Benoit Dalbert had really. Gone off unfortunate by Vicentovic. That was the guy. Benoit got pushed off by him. You can fight yourself back into contention, definitely in a crazy race like this. And he's now in P9 again. And he has still sight on P7, Dmitry Zaharov. But between P7 Zarov, and P6 Giro are 19 seconds.
Oh, and
so
Giro
that's like
on
an entire
Winter
pit stop.
into the hairpin.
Yep.
Inside line. Looks like a straightforward overtake. Yep. No contact there or issues there. Good, respectful overtake there.
Definitely, but that's what you expect from a German, you know, German sense of okay, you know, I get it. So but you see that all the time. I mean, Michi Hoyer as well. When's last time you saw him doing something ridiculous? You know, I mean, it's in the Germans. They love racing. You know, they won like 25 of all Grand Prix in the history, partly because of Schumacher, partly because of Vettel, but still, you know. Germans represent like 20% in Formula 1 in terms of drivers. And that says something. Nevertheless, Winter had no other option. But I do think that Felipe Giro, his tires are kind of shredded because of that spin. Because he was on complete lock, 3 seconds long, burning his tires. And that's like 20-30% and a big flat spot. George Winter making his first pit stop, I believe so.
Yes.
Goes on to the soft compound tire, the options. But will he come out back on track of Zarov? He might, he's coming out on track now in front, but Zarov having the momentum here. This is going to be tense. Get into that slipstream, Dimitri. It's not enough for now, but it will be enough for DRS.
Small lockup from Zaharov, but he is very close.
Yeah, well, it's key for George Winter to stay in front, and then he is going to stay in front. This is too big of a gap. Yeah,
if he can stay in front of him here, then he'll have plenty of clean air. So
exactly.
As you said, crucial.
Yeah, especially on those fresh set of tires. And we have seen that tactical advantage in, I believe, WC in Austria, where Adam Brewer or something stopped, and Jim Paresis didn't stop, or some twister car didn't stop, and the guy who did stop got caught into traffic, lost out on the podium. The guy who didn't stop got into P2 or something, P3. It was absolutely splendid to see how tactics can not always will, but can dramatically increase your position at the end of the race. And that's often to do, I don't want to use the name spotters, but the engineers that we have here from time to time, and in WC as well, that monitor the driver, that say stuff like, okay, you're battling this guy, you know, you're a race engineer. And then we get into a part of professional sim racing where it's going to be a team sport as well, not only the driver, but if a engineer can give you 5 or 10 more seconds at the end of the race, then any driver would do that. So, you know, we started this season with the ability for engineers to join the server, like Nathan and I am at the moment in the spectator's position. And, you know, at the middle of the season, the lobby is filled with like 10, 20 spectators, all engineering for one driver, maybe sometimes two heads per driver. But it's all to do with the competitiveness, the edges that well, basically humans are looking for. Every edge that can be grinded off of the end result time, that, you know, we take it. And in that aspect, we are a very professional environment, I would say.
I remember in Bahrain, engineering for Jeroen Kvekel, I was getting help from Michi Hoyer and also Pasalis Gergis. So, yeah, we had 3 people.
So there you go.
The guy.
You're driving with the help of Kwekel and Gergis, not the least of names in FSR. There you have it. So, you know, get onto a forum, message Bono Huis, and say, you know, Bono, I need an engineer here. Mind you, he only talks to you if you have a three-figure number in front of him, but nah, it's all okay. A true legend, though, Bono.
So I'm keeping an eye on Jordi Lopez. He seems like he's in striking distance. You know, he seems like he's in the right sort of area to get by. But every time we get to the DRS straight, he just doesn't seem to have the top speed to get alongside de Waldnell.
Yeah, those darn Africans, you know.
I think the OFR car has really good top speed. De Waldnell really seems to have the top speed advantage over Jordi Lopez anyway, specifically.
Yeah, Nel definitely being one of the fastest Africans that I know, apart from Jody Scheckter. But yeah, he's doing a fantastic job here, and well, lead of this race is a little bit far off, 6 seconds, but he's definitely fighting for a podium, I should say.
Yeah, and that would be incredible if Jordi Lopez
Yep.
could pick up a second podium in a row after getting that podium in Austria. Let's see, here he goes again, another opportunity with the DRS. He's in
That's
the
not
slipstream.
gonna help. It is gonna help, but he's too far off.
Yeah, I mean,
But the Wild now completely on that blue curve though. He doesn't have the top speed of Lopez. Lopez has like 328, and he is very tender, Jordi here.
yeah, I
So
think
he just-
Jordi is approaching us in the right way. You know, this is my first season. I'm going to play it cautious. Better to get
Sort
third
of.
than to crash trying to get second.
I mean, Max Verstappen last year, he approached it in the right way as well, but he was like, you know, I'm gonna dive in there, and you know, what you're gonna do about it? Oh, I can't do anything. Exactly. Now I'm just gonna dive in there. But yeah, sometimes that has severe consequences. If you make a dive bomb, you are committed, and if, you know, you make a mistake since you're human, the other guy will not be happy with that. Hi, James Sadler.
And Christopher Raby actually he's hanging in there. You know, he's pretty far adrift, but he's not picking up any sort of dirty air effect or anything like that. So his tires might be in a bit better nick versus Jordi Lopez up ahead of him.
And the new Renault sound is pretty accurate actually. If we take an onboard look with Miles, and I'll, you know, be quiet for a second.
Let me get on to Miles here.
That's basically how the new Renault sounds. A little bit of grumpy. You're like, where's the power? But then you still, you know, accelerate, and you're like, okay, no, it's working, it's working. But yeah, I mean, come on, get those V10s back or V8s. But nah, nevertheless, we do save a lot of trees with, you know, the 100 liters that are not being burned this season. Nevertheless. Yeah, it's getting a little bit of a two-way battle here for P2, P3. Although Christopher Raby, we can't count him out. He's in his first major season in FSR as well. He started off in MMA. He was like, okay, you know, I'm really cautious, but I seem to be as fast as, you know, pro guys or whatever. And then he just won a race in Canada, I believe. So, yeah, absolutely amazing performance and drive from him. And he's certainly one to look out for in the future. And a nice guy as well.
Silverstone. He won Silverstone.
Oh, he won Silverstone.
Second in Canada, though. So, yeah, he got second on his debut and then won the next race. So, yeah, I mean, that's quite a start from Christopher Raby.
That's talent right there. I mean, took me 4 years to win a race. Then I finally won a race, and then I got disqualified. You know what happening to me? But, yeah, my bad. But, yeah, we didn't have a DNF for the past 9 laps. So that's good.
Yeah, good.
Easing out
Great
the
point.
average.
Oh, Jordi Lopez at the hairpin though. He's had some sort of mistake. I'm not sure what happened there. That's gonna
commentator curse there.
That's gonna put Raby right onto the back of him. That was very strange. Let me. Well, actually, no. There's not an event for that, so I'm not sure.
He just locked up and because of the centrifugal force, the tiny centrifugal force, then he made the car spin. The back just slid under him. Too much understeer.
Maybe he saw someone he knew and he wanted to stop and wave.
Yeah, or a digital, you know, flat woman standing out. No, not saying flat, whatever, but the crowd is here flat if you look from it on the side.
Right, two-dimensional.
Yeah, two-dimensional, exactly. But yeah, that obviously gives the Wild Nell some breathing space, and it might give Jordi Lopez the idea to give Christopher Raby P3. However, you know, if you give a driver P3, oh, it's teammate, but, you know, if you try to give any presence here, you might press escape instantly.
Oh, Vicentovic with the spin.
Yeah.
I'm going to see a replay of that.
Was bound to happen at some point. Staying stationary for a year as well. He's like, what am I going to do about this? He's stationary. Look at what he's doing.
What's going on
He's
here?
just standing there 10 seconds long, twitching his steering wheel a little bit, and then it's like, meh.
That's got to be some sort of technical issue. I would assume so anyway.
Oh well, he doesn't have a rear wing, he doesn't have front wing. That's not what I saw. And he's figuring out, I should continue. Derp, derp, derp. Just park your car, Michelo, dude.
But think
the
of
grass.
Think of the extra weight that you lose from losing your rear wing.
Yeah. Don't give people ideas here, Joe, please. He should really press escape here. This is kind of dangerous.
Absolutely.
But yeah, then again, the leader of this race is far behind him, so I do think he can bring it to the pits, which would be a good thing. And David Rodriguez, just giving orders to blue flags, never mind that.
Yeah, David Rodriguez just got lapped by Pascal Chapon, who's in 14th position. So yeah, it has not been a great race for David Rodriguez.
What do you mean? Do you mean that Chapon is a bad driver?
No, I'm just saying Chapon is a lap down, and he's lapped Rodriguez.
So if you get lapped by Chapon, you're in for... That's how that sounded. No, but Chapon doing a great job on, allowing blue flags to have its purpose by going out of the way. And we have now, 4 lapped cars. David Rodriguez, 2 laps down. Michelo, 1 lap. Ryan and Pascal Chapon indeed. Will Barnes now getting into P10 because of that pit stop of Dave Paling. I don't want to call him Paling, he's just a Paling. Maybe a little bit of pun for a Dutch guy listening to this. Benoit Dalbert still in P9, but as he was fighting to recover his position 10 laps ago, where I said he is recovering, he's now actually seeing the guys in front of him. But it's getting, as you climb up the ladder, harder and harder. To get past that back markers quite easily, but to get past the middle guys and the top guys, that's a different issue. It's like Mario, fighting Bowser. That's a completely different story. But what am I saying? Nevertheless, he is hanging in there. But 41 seconds down the order. After 27 laps, that's like 1.5 seconds a lap that he has lost towards David Cook.
And we should be approaching the next pit stop window, I expect.
Yeah, except if your name is George Winter. He stopped in lap 19, lap 20.
Right.
But I think he will stop around lap 35 or something, maybe 34, something like that.
Yeah, he did go on the softs.
However, I do think it's quite of an open road for David Cook if he keeps it together. I mean, he doesn't have to force anything here. The Walt Nell on his term, if he wants to get the lead, he has to put a little bit more forces on his tires to catch up towards David Cook. Hence, David Cook can just chill a little bit, drive his race, get those points, and be happy with them. I'm sure he will be. However, we just passed the halfway point, and he just put his pit light on here. So there we go. Lap 29.
And a dive bomb from Juan Sanchez at turn number 8 on Dmitry Zaharov, and that put off Benoit a little bit. No changes for position there, but that was a very daring move from Juan Sanchez.
I like. No, I like that. Going out of the blue and instantly, boom! Here I am. But then again, he did leave enough space, and that's the nature of the track as well. You have a good way to escape your, hopefully undestined fate. And Benoit is on the inside here.
Oh my gosh! Whoa! Yeah, Juan Sanchez.
Juan Sanchez. Holy! It's the difference in tire degradation here. And Dimitri has to be careful that Benoit isn't going. But Dimitri's tires are completely gone. They are completely gone, and that's the reason why we saw Juan Sanchez on the outside there. However, Dimitri doesn't want to give this position away. Chooses to fight and lose even more time in doing so. Has got his pit light on, but will get overtaken here. Benoit does go defensive. Maybe he tries to make Benoit lose as much time as possible, since it's a competitor here, a direct competitor. But Benoit, using his head here, expected that dive from Dmitry Zaharov, and out of the book, waited a little bit, turned his car, and had a better exit. So that's how you do that. So Zaharov going into the pit this lap, I am sure. And if he continues on with this set of tires, that's a dumb decision.
Yep.
And he's not a dumb guy. So 1+1, here he goes. And like you said, second round of pit stops will be there. However, David Cook removed his pit light. Maybe he's just trolling me and he's like in the car.
Mind games.
Yeah, mind games with the commentator. And David Cook crashes. No, you know, my turn, David. Commentator curse you right back. Nah, it's that was childish of me. But Giro now goes into the pit, and I'm sure that he has to because you know his tires were shredded after that spin. Nevertheless, he did make his stint work. Well, after that spin, well, supposedly a little bit okay. But,
and a big spin for DeWald Nell, and he's lost his front wing. Oh my gosh, out of turn 10, just loses the back end. The pressure from Jordi Lopez finally pays off, and DeWald Nell has cracked.
It's that curb. He went onto the curb, he went outside of the curb, and the car bottomed out. And then, you know, the car only weighs like 200 kilos, and you have all this traction, and you're like, okay, that's physics, you know, boom. DeWald Nell is able to continue on his race, but oh, and he spins again! Whoa! Keep it together, dude! Keep it together. Oh, and the South African temperament here. No joking, but yeah, that's losing him another 7-8 seconds, you know? Big pile of pit stops here. Jordi Lopez, Christopher Raby, and Felipe Giro are all in, which means George Winter finds himself maybe in P2 even. He has the better momentum for Jordi Lopez. However, he doesn't have the better tires. Ooh, it's squeezing here. Ooh, but that's optimizing, letting each other live. And Jordi Lopez, has DRS, so...
Oh yeah,
you know,
surely
whatever.
he's going to do this here. I mean, George is on worn options as well. And
334 with DRS is the top speed of ACR driver Jordi Lopez. However, WC drivers, if you're thinking now, okay, ACR is running 335 or whatever, then it might be different because David Cook is only showing a top speed of 312 or maybe with DRS 320, 325. So, yeah. But
and
George
David
Winter
Cook
is
doesn't
doing a
pit.
Good job for the moment.
Cook stays out, interestingly enough. I don't know
Yeah,
if he's going to maybe
still.
try and fit a set of softs at the end. I feel like that'd be a bit of a gamble.
Yep.
I feel like the safe choice here would just be a pit straight away for another set of the primes, keep that gap that he had.
I think he's going to finish the race on a set of primes, the next pit stop. He has 19 laps to go. He's going into the pit this lap. I guarantee it. And then he will just finish the race with that. And that's why he removed his pit light earlier. He was like, I'm doing 2 more stops. And then he's like, meh, I can stretch it. You know, what do I have to fear at the moment? So, yeah. That's the luxurious position of being in P1. But here goes David Cook onto Vicentovic. And Vicentovic sees the blue flag. Yeah. No pun intended there, but sometimes Vicentovic is just known for not noticing other, drivers sometimes.
And
as he demonstrated today as well.
Into the pits, I assume, for a set of the prime tires. I'm just going to have a quick look as he gets the tires changed.
Yeah.
Yep, it's another set of the primes, and he will continue on. Is he going to lose a position to Zaharov? Yes, he does. He does. He's going to come out right behind him.
Benoit Dabert, no? I mean, he should be French, right, with that name?
I think he is French. Yeah, he is French.
It should be. Well, there's this...
or Canadian.
GP2 driver who from last year or something, but he's driving... David Cook is in the pit, by the way. Who isn't a French guy, but he's called Baguette from the from his surname. Wouldn't it be awesome if you're French and you would be your name would be Baguette? But he's driving DTM now or something. I don't know. Or Formula E or something. I have no idea.
Yeah, David Cook with a big old gap. Big old gap. There he's heading into turn 2. Jordi Lopez just making his way down towards turn 2 out of turn 1 now. Now he's breaking. Yeah, I mean, 7-second gap between Cook and Lopez. But Jordi Lopez looking on track to do one better than he did previously.
Juan Sanchez in the pit. Raby on towards the back of Winter, who is not defending, just letting Raby go. Because Winter knows that he needs one more stop to finish this race. And he is certain of P5. If he keeps it together, though.
Yeah, I think so.
We have seen some drivers having a difficult issue with that, We just have to scroll down driverless. We see suspension damage. So Benoit Dalbert going into P8 because Juan Sanchez is not defending whatsoever, or he's doing something that I have no idea of. Well, it's keeping the car on the outside, which will eventually become the inside. He just has to stick his car. Ooh, yeah, that was a little bit steering in too early. That was not the fault of Benoit, but that was more the eagerness of Sanchez. He had to steer in a little bit later because otherwise Dalbert had to, stomp onto the brakes to give him enough room. That's not what you have to do.
That now.
Yeah, you just have to give someone enough room, not too much room. Otherwise, you could better join the Olympics, No Olympic mentality here, and that's the same between Cook and Lopez. I'm sure that Lopez, if he catches up to Cook, he will at least attempt it. If you're a true racer, you're not satisfied with P2.
And Giro gets by Winter, but not without a little bump. Maybe George just wanted to help him get some extra speed out of the corner.
I'm sure that's it. A little bit of bump drafting there.
There you go.
Yeah.
He's a nice
great
guy,
stuff we're seeing here. Yeah, certainly.
So Raby into third. I think worth pointing out the ACR engineering teammates of Jordi Lopez and Christopher Raby both in the podium positions. That would be a fantastic result for those guys. ACR Engineering currently 5th in the championship. This would give them an extra 37 points, which would, that would put them up near...
What? ACR is 5th in the championship?
ACR Engineering, yeah.
Okay.
The regular ACR team is first. David Cook and David O'Reilly, the couple of Davids, they're first in the championship. But the ACR Engineering of Jordi Lopez and Christopher Raby, if they can hold on to these 2 podium positions, that'll be a great result for the team.
Definitely, and Chapon and Vicentovic, well, showing how it's done with the blue flags. Felipe Giro in P4. Well, Vicentovic obviously has the problem, but he's still driving. That's the thing. Oh, what a legend! That's Vicentovic, seriously. Did get into the points, into the top 10 last year, but.
It looks like Sanchez and Zaharov are in pretty close proximity right now. Oh, and Sanchez with a spin out of turn 1. Sanchez spins it. Let me get a replay of that.
Dirty air being involved in there.
I'm going to go on board with him. Here he is coming out of the final corner, down towards turn 1. Chris is
typical
saying
dirty air thingy.
Yep, just runs wide, gets onto that AstroTurf, and goes for a spin, and that is going to be his tires destroyed. And he does he's doing a lot of smoking on my screen. That was strange. I don't know if that was a lag related issue. Oh, and then a big oversteer moment at the exit.
I didn't see any smoke, to be honest.
Okay, yeah, it looked very strange. It was like he was locking up his tires in a straight line.
Let's get like that. I thought ancient smoke, but a little bit. But let's just give him the benefit of the doubt. And Benoit. Now 10 seconds off behind De Waldnel. Well, we have seen that De Waldnel is not, of his nerves aren't from steel. But yeah, I think he's pretty relaxed now and thinks, okay, another podium gone, let's just finish this race. So driving with that mentality that everything has gone wrong, you're suddenly not so tense anymore. When you see P6 while a few laps before you saw P2. Yeah. You're like, oh, okay, here we go. But nice to see the top 4 within 12 seconds. I do think David Cook could have stretched that if he would have liked that, but yeah, why would he? You get the same amount of points if you finish 1 second or 1 picosecond or 1 light year in front. So it doesn't matter as long as you get that victory.
Yep.
Good story, by the way, about Fernando Alonso. When he was into karting, he used to be in the lead a lot, 30-40 seconds, but he often spun. And his engineer, his trainer were like, just finish the race, this and that, and you still get the points. And then he said, no, I can't. I have to do lap 100% all the time. Otherwise, later in Formula 1, I wouldn't be, good enough. And his engineer was like, wow, 12 years old and already this. That's the kind of attitude you gotta have,
Yeah.
So a great story about a great legend. For some, personally, I'm not a big fan.
I am. I'm a big fan.
Yeah, well,
I'm
I
an
don't think
Alonso
he's worth
fanboy.
30 or 35 million a year, to be honest. I think you should ask Robin Freins to just get a free seat and he will do a better job. No, but I think his eagerness is a little bit gone, you know? The eagerness of Alonso. He won his championships. He's in the later stages of his career. If he has a fast car, of course he's going to battle. But young drivers like Max or Carlos Sainz or anyone, except the Sauber drivers, what a guy, by the way.
Savage.
But that Ericsson in Monaco, holy. But if you have an eager guy, he still has to prove himself. He wants this, you know. It's like when you're young, you're anxious, you want to do everything quick and good, and you want to go. And if you're older, you're like, you know.
That's how I feel personally, but
Yeah, like
I was never a championship material driver.
No, it's the same with infants, you know, with children. When they're 5, 6 years old, they have an infinite condition. You know, they can just run and run and run. You know, and when you're older, you're like, oh, you know, I'm so tired. But yeah.
I'm tired just from commentating this race. It's been so crazy.
Not me. I got a condition of a horse at the moment.
I feel like I'm burning calories just talking about the insanity that's happening. I am keeping an eye on the battle for 10th position right now. It does appear that that's the closest battle on circuit right now, with like a 10-second gap between Winter and Nell, and another 10-second gap between Nell and Daubert. So
yeah, Giro and Raby are in there, but still 1.3 seconds away from each other. So
yeah,
not really any action there, but it might come. DNF of Ryan Winsper.
Uh-oh. What's gone on with Mr. Winsper? Uh-oh.
I don't know.
Oh, he just kind of pulled off, didn't he? Oh, he came out of the pits. He's coming out of the pits, and
what's happening here?
He just stops.
Oh yeah.
Just pulls over to the side.
Maybe in the room of Ryan Winsper, one of his parents. Ryan, I'm racing! No! Or I'll pull the plug again. Okay. No, just joking there, Ryan. Hope you can take it. No offense intended. Benoit Daubert is not showing any gap in my screen, which made me panic a little bit. Like what happened there, what I said 10 seconds ago. But maybe he just cut it a quarter and he has his lap cut it.
I'm showing Vicencevic with a spin as well. I'm on board watching the replay now. Yeah, he had a spin into the camber corner.
The track.
Uh-oh.
Benoit Daubert off the track in the 30-second replay. Yeah, he just makes a little bit of a driver mistake there. In a corner you would not expect it to happen. Although the exit is a little bit tricky, it might give you a sudden... You know, obviously, no, he just touches the curb.
Yep.
He just touches the curb, loses the car, driver issue. No corner-related issues, whatever. Well, first mistake I have seen him make in his entire FSR career, since it's his first race.
Everybody gets one. That's all right. We'll give him a pass on this one.
That's Spider-Man's clue as well. If you jump, if you fall off a building, you know, everybody gets one. But don't try it though. Not be around. He might be cruising in Hawaii or something.
Well, Dave Paling seems a little bit closer to Miles Wee on this occasion. He's going to have the inside line heading into the hairpin as well. Is this finally his opportunity to get up into the top 10? It does look like it is. Miles Wee doesn't fight it too much there, and Paling moves up into 10th position.
Is it because of that engine of Miles? I don't know. Certainly not done with it. Ooh, he's trying on the outside here. Paling even giving him plenty of space there.
Yeah.
Because it normally doesn't work, but if you're alongside there, then you have the next corner. You know? So, yeah, for a top 10 position, I think it's huge stuff for Miles, actually. I don't think he ever finished in the top 10. And he's gonna spin here! Why do I have to curse him? I didn't curse him, but, you know, why? Why does he spin when I talk about him?
Yeah, that's his fault for making you feel guilty.
Indeed. Yeah. Yeah, back to the leader. 8.5 seconds between Cook and Lopez, and you know, Cook can just travel home.
We've barely seen Cook at all in this race. I mean, I've been focused on just about anybody but David Cook. It's been such a lonely race for him for the most part. Looks like he's going to extend that championship lead. Again, he does lead over Felipe Giro by 12 points. Giro currently in 4th position, so it looks like he's going to extend that championship lead with 10 laps remaining.
Yeah, and with a bigger extension than he would have thought, because Giro was a P2 and it would give you 18 points. P4 will give you 12. So instead of instead of 7 points, you will get 13 more added to the gap, and that obviously gives you confidence. We have seen the epic battle in USA 2014 in your home state, Texas, where every gun rack has a gun rack in it. Where we saw Bono clinching the championship after a horrible mistake of Morgan Morant. The two guys, where David didn't beat Goliath there, Goliath being Bono, by a simple, pit limiter mistake, and Morgan lost the championship whilst being like 10 points into the lead. That was an epic race, epic championship. And Bono, who was definitely not the quicker of the two that season, managed to, by consistency, by his experience, by his professionalism, and by being who he is, he still clinched the championship without, winning more than 3 or 4 races that season. Plus, in 2011, he only didn't win 1 race, I believe, or 2. It was
he did the Keke Rosberg.
I don't know anything about Keke Rosberg. Don't like the guy.
He seems like he wouldn't be a great dad.
Oh, Keke Rosberg. You mean like he won the championship without winning a race?
Or he only won one race, I think, in that season.
Ever happened. But I did believe he won a race out of after the classification or something. I have no idea. But that's stupid. Winning a championship. How can you win a championship without winning a race? That's stupid.
Must have been a lot of retirements.
Yeah. I remember Keke Rosberg in Brands Hatch 85 with Senna, or no, 85, 86 or 87 in the Lotus, where Senna crashed Rosberg off, and Rosberg went to the pit, and his teammate from Rosberg, he was stuck behind Senna. Then Rosberg came out of the pit, 1 lap down. This allowed Senna to overtake him, since there weren't any blue flags. And he allowed his teammate to overtake him. And then he kept Senna behind him. Like, you crashed me off, you're going to have a bad time now, Ayrton. That was amazing back in the day. But yeah, you didn't have blue flags.
Maybe that's why part of the reason we have blue flags now.
Yeah, and then you get 2010, where Tony Fernandez, team boss of Caterham then, also the guy who ordered 64 Airbuses once. You order 64 Airbuses, then you can't get a Formula 1 car off the ground. However, the thing is that he once pleaded that, we should get rid of blue flags. And everyone was like, what? Yeah, I mean, blue flags, stupid, this and that. But, that would be a horrible sight, in my opinion.
Yeah, you hate it until you get held up by somebody who's a lap down.
Exactly.
And then you pray for it.
No, but it shouldn't be like that as well. If you're 1 lap down and you have the leaders behind you, you should make way. It's like, joining a marathon, running in front of some guy for 2 minutes. Look at me, look at me, look at me. Then you get out again, I mean, come on. However, 9 laps to go in this, I should say, epic race.
It's tightening up for second. Just 1.7 seconds between second and third, and then another 1.7 seconds between third and fourth. So again, nobody getting DRS, but I mean, they can all see each other.
Exactly. And then another 22 seconds between Giro. Who's going off?
Oh!
Giro is off, but keeping it together.
Be careful.
Yeah, indeed, because otherwise that gap is going to increase with 25 points, and not only a few. So
yeah, he's got to think about his championship. With him being the contender and just 12 points adrift right now. Yeah, he needs to maximize everything he can get.
He should right now. I mean, he's on the limit of this car. Another pit stop would put him in a severe compromising position. He just has to hope or pray that something in front is happening between the ACR guys, which has happened in Canada, as we all remember. I'm sure ACR learned from that. The way that Sauber and Marcus Ericsson learned from his move on Felipe Nasser. Those guys will take the pancake award for me every time of the week. I mean, Marcus Ericsson just going berserk. Like, this is Sauber! Boom! But, complete noobs there. But then again, if you pay 20 million a seat, then for a seat, then you can allow that things. You know?
Right, you kind of get the feeling you can do whatever you want. Yeah, exactly.
What's Sauber going to do? Hire 4 drivers for 2 seats, to get the money? Like Guido van der Garde and Soetil? But yeah, they already did that indeed. No, I think they will be, before the end of the season, they will either be gone or they will be replaced by a new owner.
Yeah, wouldn't surprise me.
Because I loved Sauber, man. I mean, Sergio Perez there in that year, that was awesome.
2012, yeah. That was the year I came back to Formula 1, actually, after an extended break. I came back in 2012. I saw the Australian Grand Prix. I was like, wow, F1 is pretty exciting these days. The last time I had watched it was, I think, 2005, when Schumacher was just absolutely dominating, and or no, he wasn't dominating, but I mean, it was.
Well, he was pretty dominating.
Yeah, it was towards the tail end of the domination, certainly. But
yeah,
I took a big old break from F1, and I saw the 2012 Australian Grand Prix, and I was like, holy cow, that's amazing, and yeah, I immediately fell in love with the Sauber that year.
Yeah, it was awesome. And Sergio Perez not being a one-day fly, and also his period in McLaren was definitely not his fault. Nope. It was just the car's fault. Like Ron Dennis said, like both parties didn't.
It's the only team he's never gotten a podium for, so I think that says something.
Exactly. Well, I thought that might be the new star of this generation, but then
Christopher Raby, I think, is within DRS range here.
Ah, nice. So we can talk about these guys again, because
we might have a race on our hands. 5 laps remaining, so I mean, he doesn't have a lot of time to get the job done, but I think he's going to get DRS on this occasion. Let me see. We can go on board with him. Look backwards. I believe he is going to get the DRS here. Yes, he does
have DRS. We see the lights on the. I hope the guys that are watching can see the lights as well. If you see the yellow light after the crossing part of the detection zone, they will have DRS. Big lockup of Jordi Lopez. At least he didn't make the corner as he should have had, and definitely, getting a little bit of pressure on his neck from his teammate. And as a guy driving, that's good. That's like a glass of water when you in the morning or whatever. I wouldn't say milk. Milk is really bad for you, but. Then you're like, okay, I'm pressuring him. I got this, and then you go a little bit faster, and then, state of mind is very good to have. Yeah. And if you see someone disappear in the horizon whilst you're already giving it, then you have to say to yourself, he's faster. And if you're a racing driver, you will never say he's faster. It's like, there's something wrong with the car, something wrong with the tires or something. But
gust of wind.
Yeah. Same with Vettel and Mark Webber in Malaysia. I'm sure Vettel 9 or 10 times he will say sorry, but next time he will do it again. Yeah. That's the way those guys work in their minds. Yeah, that was a big spin, almost a spin, big correction of Christopher. And that's the thing as well. You don't think of those corrections, you just do them. David O'Reilly, our next DNF. Oh, David, what happened there, bro? A lag.
There was a lag moment just now for Jordi Lopez as well, under braking for the turn 6 hairpin. Christopher Raby all of a sudden had Jordi Lopez a lot closer than he was originally. Let me see.
An ACR lag. I once overtook someone with that. That was scary. And I also got crashed once in Barcelona by Giro when that happened.
Oh, I think I saw that.
Yeah, I saw that too. I got front row tickets for that show. That was. I
think I was commentating
appalling.
for that one.
Yeah, that was horrible. I was in P2 or 3 or something.
Don't go blaming me for cursing you on that one though.
No, I do have the knowledge now. So check your Facebook after this, and you will see another Chris. So, but yeah, pretty weird. Fortunately for those guys, nothing really happened. Because otherwise then Felipe Giro would get the 80 points still. And Chris Cobb would, grab a gun and start shooting the air, I'm sure.
Well, if you want to feel a little bit better, I do think you had a commentator's blessing, if that helps, because the problem that Lucas Schmidt had hitting that invisible wall, nobody else has had that happen.
With that.
So I think maybe you, even though we couldn't warn the other drivers, maybe you somehow warned them telepathically, and everyone knew to avoid that.
Well, I think it's good to put that onto the FSR announcements, to be honest, because I still feel pretty horrible about what happened to Lucas Schmidt.
Yeah.
I'm sure he feels more horrible than I do
Yep.
about it. And I'm sure we all don't want to see that again in WC. Imagine those scenarios, last lap of the race, and then boom, leader out. Nah, it's just, nah. So, 3 laps to go. David Cook is gonna win this race, or he has to lose 3 seconds a lap.
Yeah.
It's
Or
not
have a
gonna happen.
big mistake. Oh man, I hope we didn't just curse him. But yeah, it's looking very good for the championship leader.
It sure is. Felipe Giro, 19 seconds adrift, starting his last 3 laps now. And Winter definitely not really spectacular today in terms of maneuvers. He didn't really fight a lot, but he has charged to the field a lot. And in the end, that's what you want. So hats off for him.
Yeah,
and
Winter
DeWalt
started
Nel,
in P10.
Yeah,
DeWalt Nel
so-
started in 4th, so he lost a couple positions.
Yeah,
Giro
also
started
because
in
of that
3rd.
spin and that spin after that.
But
So
I mean,
that was,
Jordi Lopez started in 8th. Jordi Lopez started in
Yeah.
8th. Christopher Raby in 6th. So I mean, I think that really shows the kind of race that Jordi Lopez has had.
yeah. I'm a little bit curious though, because Jordi Lopez, if we see the replay, if we go to the 30-second replay right now, then this corner here, if people cut that, now I do believe you're allowed to go onto the green part, so I think never mind it. Not really a track where you can cut a lot, except the last corner, you know, the second last corner, you know. Actually, fun fact, in Pro 2014, when we had Carlos Martin as a race director, we had a guy cutting that corner completely, and he actually got a race ban because of a cut in qualify.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was that. So, you know, that was the harsher side of FSR, and this year we have seen some penalties that should be a bit more severe, if you ask me. And I think race directors shouldn't be afraid people stop racing because they do something despicable. Because if you don't punish them for that, they will do the same thing again. And no, Benoit Dalbert is flickering all along. You can see the lag. You can see the lag. And then I think he just disappears. Oh man, yeah, that's another lag-related issue for the rookie here. He was certain of P7, certainly.
P7, yeah.
Yeah, and now he does get classified, but you know he doesn't buy anything for that. He will be P13 because Rodriguez 4 laps down.
Yep.
He will not reach the 48 laps. Pretty funny actually. David Cook just started his last lap. He's in lap 51. David Rodriguez just started lap 46. He's 4 laps down. Michelo Vicentovic 6 laps down. He's in lap 44. Nevertheless, he didn't do anything appalling. He's 6 laps down. But you know, if that floats his boat, let it float. You know.
Yeah.
So
I mean, he's on for a points finish. So
yeah, and Michelo just overtook David O'Reilly. that's how far he was gone.
Just now.
Yeah, David Cook, time to get a little bit of serious matter here going on. He's going to win this race. He led from
Christopher Raby with a spin out of the hairpin. I don't know if that's going to... I mean, here comes Giro down towards the hairpin now.
He's not going to make it. But
Nope. He's going to be all right.
All okay. Okay, well, at least you tried, Christopher. If you watch this back, good job for trying on Jordi Lopez.
A for
that's
effort.
what we want to see. Yeah, I remember Sadler now in the Winter Series. Great guy, by the way. Cook here, clinching the victory in Germany as a Canadian. Here he comes. David Cook takes home the victory in Alemania in Germany. 1 hour and 8 minutes on the clock. And he has been awarded 25 points more in his championship battle. Here comes Jordi Lopez over the finish, takes a beautiful P2 home. And Christopher Raby is coming home in P3.
Jordi is thrilled. Jordi is thrilled.
Yeah, man, he should be, man. He was having a great time. Christopher Raby as well. He is moving his steering wheel about, and he is, well, really happy. Giro should be disappointed because he knew there was more powder in the barrel. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
he was on pace to actually. He was keeping David Cook honest. You know,
Yeah.
it looked like we might actually
The end
have a
of the
race on
stint.
our hands for the lead.
Felipe Giro, his weakness is learning when to pit at the correct time, and I don't mean it as a criticism, but we have seen it a lot. He lost 4.5 seconds in 3 laps. I mean, when I see that, I lose 1.5 seconds between the guy I'm fighting with behind me or in front of me.
Oh, Juan Sanchez spins. He was trying to battle Dmitry Zaharov in the final sector. Juan Sanchez has lost his rear wing and his front wing.
Oh yeah, let's take a look at the replay. Indeed, they're fighting it on Juan Sanchez here. Ooh. Did he get the opportunity though? He got rather close here, and then he spins. He just spun indeed. Driver mistake. Fortunately, no contact being made there. Yeah, well, it didn't matter if he finished or not. He was already in P8, and the rest was 1 lap down, so he could have just pressed escape basically. But yeah, well, P8, fair enough. Yeah, this is one of the few occasions where I don't think it's as stupid to cross the start-finish line without wigs, because it's the finish, obviously. And Miles Weiwei actually, well, having a little bit of fun spinning and whatsoever. So yeah, but great race here, and I think we will see a slide of domination in the later stages. Or David Cook has to really increase as well. But what I wanted to say is that Giro has the raw speed. He just has to connect the dots, you know, and that's the experience. Because if you lose 1.5 seconds for 3 laps long, you should have pitted 2 laps ago, you know. So yeah.
Yep, I think everyone would agree with that, but yeah, still a fantastic race. Great result, particularly for ACR Engineering with the double podium.
Hats off for those guys. They're dominating this championship.
David Cook, after being absent from Austria, extends his championship lead, picks up the win here in Hockenheim, and Jordi Lopez does one better. It's 2 podiums on the trot now for the American rookie in the series, so I'm sure both of those guys will be very happy. Christopher Raby, I'm sure, will be wishing that he could have done one better, and as you mentioned, Felipe Giro, I'm sure, will be slightly disappointed with that 4th place finish.
Yeah. Nevertheless, I think we have been dealt a great deal of racing here for the last 1 hour and 10 minutes. A lot of action, especially in the early stages of the race, but a lot of entertainment as well, if I and then I speak for myself, obviously. I would urge you all to see the crown of Formula Sim Racing at work in about an hour's time to join us again in WC. For now, I hope you have had a great time watching us, and hopefully see you in an hour's time. For now, see you later.